In our lifetime, we absorb facts, information, and skills. We get our theoretical and practical understanding through education and experience. It's called knowledge. Welcome to television's longest running high school quiz show, Knowledge Bowl. Let's join two of our 16 competing Northeast Michigan high schools and our host, Astrid Fitzpatrick, for today's match.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Bowl, Michigan's longest running quiz show. I'm your host, Astrid Fitzpatrick, and today our game is between Alcona and Hillman. We'll start by introducing those teams, beginning with Alcona.
Intavius Micus, freshman.
Seth Stomachowski, sophomore.
Haley Petty, sophomore.
Alex View, sophomore.
And they're joined by their coach, Linda Moran. And our team from Hillman.
Caleb Scheffer, junior.
Zachary Cameron, senior.
James Ferguson, junior.
Cassie Halford, sophomore.
James McQueen, sophomore.
Stuart Brown, sophomore.
And they're joined by their coach, Rebecca Schwartz. I'd also like to thank our judges, Matthew Fitzpatrick and Joy Griskowiak, for being here today. Our first round is the toss-up round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
Round 1 is a toss-up format. A question will be asked, and the first competitor to ring in has the opportunity to answer the question. If a correct answer is given, the team is awarded 10 points. No consulting is allowed. If the answer is incorrect, then the question goes to the opposing team to answer.
All right, let's get started. John Maynard Keynes developed his theories in studying what economic occurrence of the 20th century? Intavius?
Inflation.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Right, and the correct answer was the Great Depression. Thutmose was the first pharaoh to be buried in what spot in western Thebes? Right, the correct answer was the Valley of the Kings. Only 2 wars in European history have claimed more civilian than military casualties. One was World War II. Name the other, which occurred during the 17th century. The correct answer was the 30 Years' War. In philosophical terms, the belief in only one ultimate reality, whatever its nature, is known as what? And the correct answer was monism. The Greek hero Perseus had an all-star family. Not only did he become a constellation in the northern sky, so did his Ethiopian wife, mother-in-law, and father-in-law. Name any one of them. We would have accepted Andromeda, Cassiopeia, and Cepheus. Find the second derivative of f of x equals 2x to the 5th power minus 4x squared plus 7x plus 6. The correct answer was 40x cubed minus 8. Identify the source of the following lines. Since it's for me to start the game, why, welcome, be the cut in God's good name. Now let us ride and listen to what I say. And at the word we started on our way, and in the cheerful style he then began at once to tell his tale, and thus it ran. The correct answer was Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. What did George Meredith call the last thing civilized by man? And Caleb?
The West.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Alcona? The correct answer was woman. According to their phylum name, what kind of skin do echinoderms have? And the correct answer was spiny. Which Italian city is famous for its violin makers? Haley?
Venus.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? The correct answer was Cremona. What Aztec custom most dismayed and disgusted the Spanish conquistadors? Caleb?
The sacrifices.
That's correct. The southwestern U.S. was explored and settled primarily by which European nation? Antavius?
The French.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
Spain.
That's correct. Washington College was renamed in 1871 to honor which general, its president from 1865 to 1870? Okay, the correct answer was Lee. The symbol of France is the fleur-de-lis, which literally translates to flower of the lilies. What kind of flower is the fleur-de-lis supposed to be? The correct answer is an iris. Norman Mailer's The Naked and the Dead is based on Mailer's own experiences in what? The correct answer was World War II. It's the largest carnivorous quadruped on Earth, and it's unique in its combination of great size, adaptation to an aquatic way of life, and white color. Can you name it? Haley?
Polar bear.
That's correct. Which ancient Greek philosopher made this comment, which some would say is just as true today? When there is an income tax, the man just will pay more and the unjust less on the same amount of income. Right, the correct answer was Plato. In the following pairs of old name, new name cities, which is incorrect? St. Petersburg, Leningrad, Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, Constantinople, Istanbul, Christiania, Oslo, or Hong Kong, Beijing? Haley?
Hong Kong.
That's correct. Nice. Why does the setting sun sometimes appear to change shape? Zach?
Light waves.
Judges?
Refraction of light waves.
That's correct. Okay, what term is used to designate a nation that appears powerful but is really weak and ineffective? The expression includes the name of a writing material and a member of the cat family. The correct answer was paper tiger. National U.S. highways with odd numbers are built in a generally north-south direction. US 1 runs from northern Maine to southern Florida. What about US 101? What states does it link? The correct answer was it runs from northern Washington to southern California. And that's all we have for our first round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Okay, welcome back. So far, we've got a very close game of Alcona with a score of 20 and Hillman with a score of 30. Our next round is the bonus round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
This is the bonus round. It consists of toss-up questions, as in round 1. However, this is the twist. The team answering correctly then gets 4 bonus questions. For each question answered correctly, a series of points will be awarded. Team members can consult, but only the team captain can answer the question. After an incorrect answer, the toss-up portion begins again for both teams.
Its shores are 92 feet below sea level, making it the lowest point in Europe. Name the world's largest lake. The correct answer was the Caspian Sea. During the 1988 presidential election, 805 million pieces of political literature spewed from Capitol Hill at a cost of about $113 million. Who picked up the bill? The correct answer was the taxpayers. Citizens of which major industrialized nation are most lightly taxed by their government? Great Britain, France, Germany, or the United States? Seth?
Great Britain.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Zach?
France.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was the United States. In order to graduate, many high school students must complete 60 hours of what kind of extracurricular activity? Caleb?
Community service.
That's correct. Okay, these questions are about Kansas City. In what direction would you drive to travel from Kansas City, Kansas to Kansas City, Missouri?
Do I have to hit the button? North.
Sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was east. Okay, which of the following is not a measure of energy? BTU, calorie, erg, watt, or joule? Antavius?
A joule.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Zach?
Erg.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer is a watt. Who headed Europe's first fascist dictatorship? The correct answer was Mussolini. The record for the most consecutive losses by one NFL team is 26. Which club holds this dubious distinction? Caleb?
The Lions.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Alcona? Antavius?
Cleveland.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What color is the Hope Diamond? It is displayed in a glass-faced vault in the Smithsonian's Natural Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. James?
Was it, I thought it was dark purple.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Alcona? Haley? Or sorry, Seth?
Blue.
That's correct. Okay, these questions are about languages. Where do 58 million people speak Cantonese? Okay, and the correct answer was China. Okay, the massacre of the Bigfoot Band is better known as Custer's Last Stand, the Fall of the Alamo, Battle of Wounded Knee, Battle of Bull Run, or Pontiac's Rebellion. Seth?
The Alamo.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Zach?
Battle of Bull Run.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was Battle of Wounded Knee. What phrase did poet Ralph Waldo Emerson use in his poem Concord Hymn to describe the first shot of the Revolutionary War? Caleb?
It was heard around the world.
Oh, that's correct. Okay, these are finish the title. About what itch did George Axelrod write in 1953?
Can you repeat that?
About what itch did George Axelrod write in 1953? Right, the correct answer was the 7-year itch. Bobby rows a boat at 5 miles per hour but travels only 7 miles in 2 hours. How fast was the current moving against him? Antavius?
3 miles an hour.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? And the correct answer was 1.5 miles per hour. What region in northeastern China includes the northeastern part of Inner Mongolia and borders Russia? And the correct answer was Manchuria. Given the two inequalities, 2x plus y is less than 8, and x plus 3y is less than 12, where both x and y are greater than 0, identify the quadrant of the solution set. The correct answer was quadrant run. As a teenage tennis goddess, she was escorted by older Russian hockey players. Can you name her? The correct answer was Anna Kournikova. This man, in office from 1987 until 2006, had a plaque in his office that read, "The buck stops here." Can you name him? James?
Roosevelt.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Seth?
George Washington.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was Alan Greenspan. Euthanasia, or mercy killing, was legalized in 2002 by which country's parliament? Caleb?
Canada?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Alcona? Alex?
Russia.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer is the Netherlands. The Energy Department recommended the permanent closing of the Hanford Nuclear Reservation in which state? Seth?
Florida.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Zach?
I'm going to go with Nevada.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer is Washington. Supposedly inspired by Elsinore Castle, it was finally completed in 1973, 18 years after its Danish architect won an international competition for its design. One of the most unusual shell structures ever created, its construction had been plagued by the unexpected weight of the thousands of curved white tiles that cover its 200-foot-high sail-like roofs. Named this building, designed by John Utzon, which nonetheless is the most recognizable feature of the city that hosted the 2000 Olympics. And the correct answer was the Sydney Opera House. That's all we have for our second round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Hey, welcome back. So far, I've got Alcona with a score of 30 and Hillman with a score of 50. Our next, we're also joined by alternate James McQueen on Hillman's side. Our next round is the 60-second round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
This is our 60-second round. The team with the lowest score selects from one of the 4 categories of 10 questions. The team that has 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. Each correct answer is worth 10 points. Any missed questions will then be answered by the opposing team. An additional 20-point bonus is awarded for answering all 10 questions correctly.
All right, we're starting with Alcona, who's chosen the category rats. Identify the following persons, places, and things all associated with rats and mice. Mouse, title character of E.B. White's story.
Stuart? Stuart Little?
That's correct. Mouse King appears in this Tchaikovsky ballet.
Pass.
Don Quixote's servant who smelled like a rat.
Pass.
Sage of Concord discussed building a better mousetrap.
Pass.
Leonard Wyverley book about the Duchy of Grand Fenwick made into a Peter Ustinov movie.
Any ideas?
Pass.
Kenneth Graham wrote this story with Water Rat.
Pass.
British mystery author wrote The Mousetrap.
Pass.
He was hired to get rid of the rats from Hamlin. Okay, and Hillman. Mouse King appears in this Tchaikovsky ballet.
Nutcracker.
Nutcracker?
That's correct. Don Quixote's servant who smelled like a rat.
Don Juan.
What?
Don Juan.
Don Juan? Don Juan.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Sage of Concord discussed building a better mousetrap.
Pass.
Leonard Wyverley book about the Duchy of Grand Fenwick made into a Peter Ustinov movie.
The Tale of Desperado.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Kenneth Graham wrote this story with Water Rat.
Pass.
And British mystery author wrote The Mousetrap.
Nobody? Okay.
So
Pass.
the Conan Doyle.
Okay. All right, and then we'll go to Hillman, who's chosen the category potluck. Okay, both Matthew Galbraith Perry and his brother Oliver Hazard were associated with which branch of the military?
Army.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Which South American country has the longest Pacific seacoast?
Panama. No, Mexico. Wait, no.
Brazil.
I'm sorry, that's
Brazil's
incorrect.
Panama.
What was the destination of the Titanic on its maiden voyage?
New York.
New York.
That's correct. The opposition to the flow of electricity is called what?
Resistance. It's resistance.
Resistance.
That's correct. Capitalistic economists say that what 2 factors determine price?
Demand and
Supply and demand.
That's correct. What is a 3-syllable word beginning with the letter I, which means poor?
Pass.
Okay. Express as a common fraction the multiplicative inverse of 4 2/3. Okay, and Alcona. Both Matthew Galbraith Perry and his brother Oliver Hazard were associated with which branch of the military?
Navy.
That's correct. Which South American country has the longest Pacific Sea coast?
Argentina.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. And what is the three-syllable word beginning with the letter I, which means poor? All right, and that's it for our 60-second round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Okay, welcome back. So far, we've got Alcona with a score of 50 and Hillman with a score of 90. Our last round is a toss-up round, just like the first round, so we'll go ahead and get started. There are two different ways to pronounce Caribbean, but there's only one way to spell it. What is it? Haley?
Caribbean.
Judges? No. Okay, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Zach?
Carribean.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was Caribbean. Okay. What is the first derivative of the following expression? 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5x. The correct answer was 9x squared minus 4x plus 5. What is studied at St. Petersburg's famed Kirov School? Haley?
Medical?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
Corrub.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer is ballet. What is the sole purpose of the few remaining horses in the U.S. cavalry? What is the sole purpose of the few remaining horses in the U.S. cavalry? Caleb?
To pull stuff.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Seth?
Racing.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was to ride in funerals. Okay, finish the quotation. Former President Richard Nixon, when interviewed by David Frost about his approval of a plan of action involving burglary and opening other people's mail, said, "Well, when the president does it..." Alex?
You may do it.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
It's okay.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was, when the president does it, that means it's not illegal. What story tells of a physician who discovered Ponce de Leon's legendary fountain of youth and temporarily restored youth to 4 companions? The correct answer was Dr. Heidegger's experiment. How can the relative humidity be under 100% when it's raining? Caleb?
The heat doesn't make it stay in the air, just evaporates.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Alcona? Seth?
It's cold outside.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer is because relative humidity is measured at ground level and air moves in layers, so often the rain will occur in a higher, more warm, moist air mass. Okay, neoprene is an artificial form of what? Okay, and the correct answer was rubber. Given the equation y equals -3 sine 2x, state the amplitude and the period of the graph. Okay, and the amplitude was 3 and the period is pi. Is the I Ching used to predict events, cast horoscopes, analyze personalities, debug phones, or teach mental discipline? Haley?
Mental discipline.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Okay, and the correct answer was to predict events. What is continental Europe's most southerly capital city? The correct answer was Athens, Greece. What are the 2 names, one official and one colloquial, for the country whose capital is Amsterdam? And The correct answer was the Netherlands and Holland. Which African country is the most highly industrialized? Caleb?
South Africa.
That's correct. What prompted Charles Lindbergh to fly nonstop from New York City to Paris in 1927? Antavius?
To prove that it's possible.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
To beat a record of farthest flight.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was the prize money of $25,000. An amulet is something that is worn to protect against pregnancy, ultraviolet rays, rain, evil, or... Caleb?
Evil spirits.
That's correct. In the Battle of the Spanish Armada, the Spanish lost 44 ships out of 130. How many did the English lose? Antavius?
16.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
2.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was none. On glancing through your morning paper, you notice that 4 pages are missing. One of the missing pages is 21. The back page of the newspaper is 28. What are the numbers of the other 3 missing pages? The correct answer was 7, 8, and 22. And that's all we have for our last round. We'll be right back with the final scores. And welcome back. Our final scores are Alcona with a score of 50 and Hillman with a score of 110. So congratulations to our winners today from Hillman. Join us next week when we'll have Alpena versus Tawas. And I'll leave you with a quote from Carl Jung: "Knowledge lies not in truth alone, but in error also. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's why they put the little erasers on pencils. Have a nice day."